appears like contradictions for a mind that is living in the shade is complementary for the one who can see, who is out of the shade. From where you are, you can have a complete, coherent, clearly understandable model of life with very few contradictions. Logically, everything fitting seamlessly. But just one step into that other place, just a small shift from where you are now to where you're meant to be, just on the inside, changes the whole landscape of reality. It breaks all your logical conclusions. It breaks every concept you have created about life for yourself. Now, what is keeping you bound to this deep idea that you begin and end with the body? The only bondage that has to be broken. Existentially, you are already where you're supposed to be. But in your mind, you are something else altogether. Why do you see yourself as the body when you can actually see the body? If you were just the body, how can you perceive something called as presence? If you were just a body, you can perceive what's happening in front of you, what's happening around you. But you cannot perceive something your body cannot grasp, your senses cannot grasp. For example, you cannot see what's behind you. Your eyes are pointed forward. No matter how you try, there is no way to know if someone is approaching from behind. It's impossible. Try as much as you want. It does not matter how close they are to you. They can come very close, extremely close. Still you cannot see them. Because you are pointed in a certain direction. And your eyes are not picking up the necessary information for it to show you what's happening behind you. All our senses are exactly like this. If you move far away from something, you cannot smell it. There is a certain distance, certain proximity from where you can smell things. The farther you move away, even if it is there, even the scent is there in the air, there comes a point when it isn't enough for you to register it as smell. It's the same with hearing, it's the same with touch, it's the same with feeling. Now, if you were just a body, then all these sensations put together, you would be experiencing the outside. But there is no way for you to experience presence, because presence does not belong to any of these senses. Is presence seeing? Is presence hearing? Is presence smelling, tasting, touching? Nothing. And yet, this is the most overwhelming experience of your life. Presence. Wherever you go, you are present. Whatever you're doing, you are present. In your happiness, you are present. In your misery, you are present. And yet, this presence is not a part of your sensations at all. Which means it is not a part of your perceptual world. It is not like the sky. It is not like the trees. It's not like other human beings. All these other things you are perceiving through your senses. You could be looking at a beautiful sunrise. If you close your eyes, it's gone. It's that simple. So your eyes are needed for that perception. Perception of depth, perception of solidity. When you look at a table and there's a cup of coffee on the table, you know you can lift that cup. You know you can drink it. How can you be certain about it? You know that when you try to grab that cup, it won't just, your hands won't just pass through it. It is solid. Because that is the experience of your body. You have created your cup using a material that can actually hold something, and you can hold and drink it. Solidity is an experience of the body. So that is why a chair feels solid, a table feels solid. Try as much as you want, you cannot explain awareness, consciousness, aliveness, and the feeling of presence through any of these experiences. Your body is not at all needed for the experience of presence. It is such a simple thing, but it completely skips our mind. Because it is so seamless, because it is always there, we have assumed it to be a part of our body. Because it does not switch on and off, it does not come and go, we don't even think about it. It is not because we have a wrong understanding of presence. It's because we don't have any understanding of presence. It is not a part of our discussions at all. When we are talking about life, when we are talking about the nature of reality, when we are talking about movement, change, physics, chemistry, biology, we are not involving this presence at all. Because it is so seamless that it just moves to the background. From the outside, presence should be an impossible experience. Because outside is impossible to perceive without the body. But it is a perfectly contradictory experience to experience something through the body, but it does not happen through the body. You know, if you didn't have this body, there is no question of contemplating on the presence. There's no question of thinking about it. Your body is fundamental. But this presence is not being generated inside the body. It's not being created inside the body. Now, how do we understand this? How do we grasp this? There is no way to grasp it with a method. The only way to grasp it is without a method, without a technique. That is why it is said Zen is a method with no method. It is a technique that uses no technique. It is not only Zen, all meditations, all inward journeys are techniques without techniques. Every single technique that you can use as a method to go deeper and connect with this presence, in actuality is not a technique at all. It is because you have moved far away from this presence, you are standing somewhere else because you are living in a world of shadows with ideas, concepts, and rigid, logical piecing together of what you regard as your life, what you imagine to be your life. You need a technique, you need a method. That is why techniques actually don't make sense in meditation. Not a single technique makes sense. If I were to tell you to just sit, close your eyes, watch your breath, you will become enlightened one day. How does it make sense? Immediately the mind is like, how can watching the breath lead to enlightenment? I want to transcend the body, but you're asking me to get attached to the body more. Now, this contradiction is only because of how you understand life. The way you have logically pieced together things is, if you keep on watching something, you get attached to it more. But in actuality, it is exactly the opposite. It is only because you don't watch something enough, you get attached to it. If you truly watch something long enough, deep enough, hard enough, there comes a point when you will reach a total state of detachment. The reason why you are so attached to the fleeting movement of life is because you don't spend any time watching it. There is something that is constantly sweeping you away from the present moment. If you spend a little longer in the present moment experiencing something, you will see just behind that something there is nothing. Nothingness is more of a reality than somethingness. But you always experience things as something. Why? Because it is fleeting. When it stays, it becomes nothing. The same sunrise, if it were to just stay there for a little longer, it will cease to be a sunrise. It will cease to be beautiful. Its beauty is that it cannot be there for more than a single moment. When you are perceiving it, it is there. That's about it. Next moment, it's a totally different sunrise. Something has changed, something has moved. And you come back after a few minutes, there is no sunrise. So, what is this beauty that we attribute so much to life? Is it real? Is it something fixed? No, it is just a part of the moving landscape of life. Some things move slowly, giving us a feeling that this beauty is lasting longer. Some things move very quickly, and before you are able to actually get a sense of that beauty, it's gone. But they're all going. There is not a single thing of beauty in existence that just stays there. You give it enough time, it passes away. Why? Why isn't there something that you can recognize as beautiful? Because something is just that fleeting sensation you're having. The actuality is nothing. The actuality is just pure presence. It is only because you are not watching life with full awareness, with full consciousness, it can trick you with all kinds of sensations. It can quickly show you something, and before you understand what it is, throw that away and put something else. And it's doing it so fast, so seamlessly, it appears like something. When you watch the breath, a day will come when your breath will disappear. This is an actual experience. It is contradictory from the outside. It is contradictory to the mind. It is contradictory to logic. But it is perfectly compatible with existence. Because underlying all our sensations is a place of no sensation. Underlying all the activities of the mind is a place of no mind. Behind sound, there is silence. Behind movement, there is stillness. Behind everything your body is doing, there is a no body. That no body is what you are wanting to become. You want to become a nobody.